Hey guys, welcome to the localhost lab, and today we are looking at another creational design pattern, which is abstract factory. A quick recap of what are creational design pattern. So these patterns deals with object creation mechanisms. What is the main goal? To create objects in a very flexible, reusable and controlled manner. Now there are different types of creational patterns. I've already covered singleton, factory, and in this video we'll see what is abstract factory. You can say this is an extension of factory pattern with few changes. The core concept remains the same. So let's start with abstract factory design pattern. So what is the need, what it does? So it creates families of related objects. It is a creational design pattern, and we have factory of factories. This is mainly to ensure consistency in your code, and it is very commonly used in enterprise applications. What is abstract factory? It provides an interface for creating families of related objects without specifying their concrete classes. Instead of creating one object, it creates multiple related objects like a family. Let's understand this with a code example. Now, before I show you the code, if you have not watched the factory design pattern video, I would highly suggest you to do so. Then this topic will become more easier for you to follow up. Now, let's see. So I have contracts. Now we have been given a problem statement where we have different payment types like UPI, card, wallet, and each this payment processor, they have two common methods. One is for actual payment processing, and then another is for validator. So whatever user input that our system receives, we have to validate it. Now this is applicable for all payment types, card, UPI. Even in future, if we want to introduce another payment type, we can do so. Let's see. So we have two contracts. The first is payment processor with process payment method. Second is payment validator with validate method, whether the entered details by the user is valid or not. Now we have two payment types. The first is card. So this implements the payment processor, and this has its own logic. Similarly for card validator, this has its own logic. For UPI, this has its own logic, and UPI validator, this has its own logic. Okay, I've just written dummy code. Let's not focus on that. Also, I have created factory. Let's see what factory I have created. So here my factory will contain two things: the payment processor and payment validator, family of related objects. These belong to the same family. Okay, now this is an interface. Okay, interface. This will be implemented by different factories. So card will have their own factory, right? Whenever someone wants to call payment processor, this create processor, it will return this card processor concrete implementation, this one. And similarly for validator, it will return this one. Similarly for UPI factory, it will return UPI processor and it will return UPI validator. Now what I have done is, previously we had only one object. In factory design pattern, we had only one object to care. Here we have a family of objects, related objects. So what we have done is, I have created another payment factory provider. We are calling the factory. Now if it is UPI, we will call this factory. If it is card, we'll call this factory. Now suppose if we want to introduce one more payment type, how we can do so? We can simply write an if condition, we can create its service class, we can create its factory, which will implement this common contract, this common interface. Okay, so let's create another payment type, wallet processor. This will implement payment processor. Business logic, whatever you want to write, you can write. Now this wallet processor is done. Now we will do validator. We'll create another class, wallet validator. This will implement this interface, payment validator, and will implement its method. So whatever business logic you want to write, you can write. And done. We only have to create a factory, which we can easily do so. So this will be wallet factory. This is going to be a Java class which will implement payment factory, and we will implement the methods. So we have to return the object, right? Which will do new wallet processor, correct? Similarly for this, return new wallet validator. I have created wallet factory. I only have to put another if condition here. This is going to be wallet dot equals in no case payment type, and this will return the wallet factory. That's it. Now whatever changes I have made, I have only added new service class, I have only created a new wallet factory, I have only modified this factory provider class. I have not made any changes in my service class. So how the service class works, so we have a process payment, okay, which is taking payment type from our payment factory. We want the actual implementation of the factory. Which factory do I have to call? Do I have to call card? Do I have to call UPI? Do I have to call wallet? How we can call it? Through this factory provider. If we pass this payment type here, it will matches with the if condition. If it's UPI, it will return me the UPI factory. Okay, so now I have UPI factory here. Okay, the UPI factory object. Now I'm calling the payment processor. So this will contain, this factory will be of UPI, and we are calling its method. So this is how you can implement abstract factory. So let's understand this with the flow diagram. We have the client, and then the client interacts with the service class, the payment service class. Now payment service class, it is loosely coupled. There are no tight coupling in this class. We are relying on interfaces. How do we get the exact which implementation? Through our factory provider. If the payment type is UPI, we'll call the UPI factory, and this UPI factory is like a family with two members, UPI processor and UPI validator. This will always ensure that if the payment type is UPI, we are calling only UPI's processor and validator service class and not someone else's. I hope this flow is clear. Thank you for watching. So I would highly suggest you to first watch the factory followed by abstract factory.